Hello. Is everyone having an... How many of you it's your first time? Wow. Awesome. How many have been at least 3 or more? Yay! Yeah, I think I've been coming for over 10 years, and they're so extraordinary. Well, everyone, as we get ready, just take one deep breath. And thank yourself for showing up here, and especially for this extraordinary experience you're about to go on, this galactic journey. So as soon as I know everybody's ready, we'll do the official intro. But for right now, just know that every one of these talks, every one of the workshops, they're filming them. So they'll be available on DVD, and then they might get a hold of you in case there's some way they'll have them on a digital download. And it's so awesome to get these. Okay, so happy Conscious Life Expo 2024. And it is truly my joy and honor to get to introduce Arcturus Ra. Oh, it sounds like some of you know him. How many of you experienced Arcturus Ra before? Yay. Okay, well, for the rest of us, this is going to be a galactic journey. So let me just read to you what it says about him. Homo Novis, Neo-Sapien body activation. You all are about to embark upon the physical avatar activation, observation, and clearing, plus tips and tricks for star seeds. You're even going to get diet supplements and some other experiences. Most of all, what you're going to get is Arcturus' essence and his wisdom and his light and all that he's done in his life to bring him to right now to share with you. And there's no accident that each one of you, and even everyone who's listening, if someone's got this DVD or whatever it might be later, who's ever getting this experience, your soul has called you for this moment. And his soul has something to share with you. So let's all open our hearts, open our minds, and get ready to be galactivated and activated. Let's give our love, Arcturus Ra.
So the remote, I just hit that, and it's gonna pictures appear or open a file. I'm a Mackie, so this is a PC. It's a little different.
Okay, so you have to start your presentation. So this one's yours, right?
So yeah, you just click
So
it.
let's start that up. Start your slideshow. And then you have all your stuff.
Okay, cool. So
You should be able to your next scene with this guy right here.
okay,
Why don't you turn?
there we go. So first, I go into what I do. Part of I'm a little bit disheveled. I'm coming out of a weather pattern, energy, I don't know, switch in my system, so look a little bit like a cold, but I'm better now. So I make these, like you see here, energy pendants. And the idea for the energy pendant is to get your body into bioresonance. So first I talk about the technology, then later on a little bit about me, and then health and energy tips and all that good stuff, and Q&A. So I looked at the pyramids, and the pyramids to me are not just what a lot of, I call them so-called pyramidians, explain. If it's too stuck into the three-dimensional aspect of it, you have to get a little bit more into the esoteric way and what actually happens in a pyramid. So to look into the field of bioresonance, I mean, I don't know if you see this. If you look at this picture, it's a photograph. But if you really, really look close, you see the shimmer at the edge. like a little bit, like in the pixelation, there's a little bit something going on. See these pixels? It's energy. Once we have developed better high-tech equipment, we will actually see that this thing emanates frequencies. So I was, hooked to pyramids, everything pyramid and sun god, hence the name Ra, since I can remember. So I guess I was primed from birth to do what I need to do. So why King's Chamber? So peculiar. So it's a holy place. Holy as in not to be worshipped. Holy as in holistically complete place. You could also say phase conjugate. What does phase conjugate mean? Meaning being in tune before creation. Interestingly, in that chamber, the resonant frequency is 432. It's like when you have that sound, when everything resonates in a room, resonant frequency. How can I demonstrate that? See, if I do ooh, this is not more, the resonance here is like ooh. See, that's more there. That's where the resonance is, where most particles actually respond. And I was leading towards my technology. I was interested in, so what is this that's so interesting about this chamber? And what is it that holy places have in common? What actually happens in this chamber, what science has measured, which is, I have to tell people, like, we have to get out of the theoretical, what people call woo-woo and suggestibility, into there's actually science, and science is actually ultimate magic. The alchemical process of making things real is science. So I'd say there's no such things as, like Harry Potter waving a wand and you see some pixels flying and that stuff. Everything has to do with science and alchemy and application. And we're finding that, and we are remembering, as in remember, putting back together how we did that in Atlantis, Lemuria, and even other planets. So in the pyramid, you have the chamber sitting, and this pyramid collects light. So light is actually what? Photons. You see here, anybody heard of orgone energy? So orgone energy begins with, you have something that basically connects electricity and something that disconnects electricity. So that is called dielectric and electric. So an insulator and a connector. So you put these plates. I build a plate, an angelic clearing plate, just to mimic that, and put some screws to it and had it sit there, and it literally electrifies the atmosphere. And whatever symbol you attach to it, it'll program the surrounding environment. So that is needed to collect the energy coming in, and the focal point is the chamber. In that chamber, you have the same thing here that looks like a vertebrae, like your backbone. You also a superconductor. You have 33 of those plates in the back. And, electricity, isolation, electricity, isolation. When you place these things over one another, well, they accumulate energy. So I'm like, what is this that connects these places, creating that energy? See, these are the Niagara Falls. Same thing happens here. Pardon. And so what happens here is what is created here is not just moistness, it is actually negative ions. Negative ions are needed for your body to actually repair itself. Before any supplement, anything that you take, negative ions, and what else comes from the ground here? Photons. That's why this is also a holy place for rehabilitation, healing, and self-rejuvenation and getting better. If you would stay around here for 2 weeks, you probably you're 5 years younger, because you're getting rejuvenating earth energy. So then I looked at, what is this that these places emanate? That's like Hawaii. How do you have this life force and everything coming forward out of it? And how can I create a representation of that is wearable as a pendant? Again, that has to do with bioresonance. So same thing here, biophotons coming from the ground, and so what combines the holy places, same as in holy wells, that makes that energy happen, is photons, negative ions, and magnetic anomalies, like Sedona has. And that is what gets your body in order. That gets your entire structure back online. So I looked at this. So science also has tested. I mean, it sounds so simple, but people have to really come back to that to even figure this out. Person, Times Square, after 2 hours, your cellular matrix is basically bonkers. It's like at the stress level, the electromagnetic influx from Times Square stresses you, taxes you, hits the immune system, and puts everything in kind of disarray. This is what major cities do. So take that person out of Times Square, these are extremes, and put that person 1 hour here. Guess what happens after 1 hour? The hemispheres synchronize, and the cells begin to rejuvenate. You're coming back to self, you're coming back to center. Your healing begins to write the healing script, which is in the DNA, RNA. These are the script writers, and then your cells go into recovery mode, and you can actually get better. And that is the basic level of you getting in resonance with nature. And that is what's called bioresonance. Now here comes the next thing. Most people don't know this. What is this? Can anybody tell what this is? You know it. Anybody else? This is a root cellar. So, and again, I must have been primed from a young age. So I watched my German grandma when she put the potatoes, carrots and whatever, apples into the root cellar. Guess how long they last in a root cellar? Anybody, any ideas? How long does that last? A year. An apple in your kitchen, 4 days. Why is that? Because it's out of bioresonance. Here it's in resonance. Also you have to understand or understand, root cellar means that original soil. Can't put concrete on that. It blocks the Schumann resonance coming from the earth. Original soil. And then you build around it. And you can store food indefinite. Even longer, if you have it in water or glass jars, this can last up to 6 years. Food. So the way our food is produced, it doesn't last that long. So again, bioresonance means having the resonant frequency from the earth still being subject to original organic fruit. Dr. Sebi said, if nature didn't make it, don't take it. So understand what you're subscribing to when you're putting that into your system. It should be natural to the most degree. Bioorganic, it's a weird subject, so don't trust Whole Foods or natural grocers that they have that, because what do they use? Fertilizer. They all use fertilizer. When food grows through fertilizer, it's not 100% bioorganic. Bioorganic is naturally fertilized soil, burnt wood, natural wood, not Home Depot wood, and then you grow your stuff, preferably in a greenhouse, so it doesn't even have any rain coming onto the soil. Then you have original bioorganic food. So now we gotta take a leap to UFOs. So there's 2 types of craft. It sounds silly, but it really makes sense. 2 types of craft. There's one, when it appears in the sky, the grass is burned, stuff around the house is all dying or dead, dogs hide, animals run, stay away from those crafts. That is dark. The royal fleets are the ones that come down. The grass grows 3 times the size. Miraculous healing overnight. Animals come, bees, everything comes, everything accumulates to where the craft is. And even when the craft leaves, this is after 15 years, the craft has left. This tree has not aged here. And this was in the case, I don't know if you have heard that, because I'm trying to study like deep into the archives to find my detail to confirm what I do. This was Travis Walton, an abduction case. If you haven't heard it or heard him speak, check on YouTube, phenomenal abduction case. Anyway, so when the craft came down, these pine trees grew 2 to 3 times the size. And they took biological samples, and the soil and everything in surrounding environment, photonically activated, negative ions, crazy, and magnetic anomalies, like everything off the chart. Everything got better. So I figured in a holy field, some call it scalar, some call it tachyon, they give it many names. In a holy field, you have your photons in order. You have your negative ions in the billions, and you have magnets, like magnetic anomalies coming from the ground at a very, very high capacity. So you can meditate on Times Square all you will. It's going to be a long journey to get to oneness on Times Square. So this gave me another proof to there is this holy field, this holy energy. So I found this in a YouTube video that you can't even find because they uploaded a video showing how they went back to took soil samples, and then YouTube has kind of disappeared that video. It's not actual fact. So even though this place exists, people kept re-uploading, and you have to find the titles change. But so this is not some, I don't know, Cardi B or what color has my poodle 300 million views. That we're not at that consciousness, okay? We're in awareness, okay? So mind you, I like music, but not that type of music. So okay, confirmation to how do I regenerate this holy field? Then I looked at different doctors. One was, I think, Fritz Popp, who looked at the reaction of biophotons. And biophotons, this is like really, really basic level. It really helps you to not educate, also to activate you into really seeing what's going on within you. Biophotons have 100,000 biochemical reactions between themselves when they're healthy. That's when you are well. That's before any supplement. And it gets interesting in a minute because I will tell you how supplements actually work. You are a light body from beginning, depending on how much light you activate. You heard of the rainbow body? That's called the chromium light. That's when you have really high states of purity of thought and mental hygiene that you'll emanate that light, and then you do what these crafts do. You're actually carrying that field. There's a story of which to me is real when I follow pattern, and I follow these insane patterns. So there's one where the story of Buddha is when Siddhartha became enlightened. The grass began to grow around him, the animals, everything sat on him, everything, all life force came around him, and it was like almost like a jungle around that young man. It's because he created this high bioresonant field that has many names. And I believe that story, I feel the resonance with that story. Then I found another story that's similar, and people don't. Maybe I'll give you a funny side story where people don't pay attention. See if you can put this together. So, Stan Romanek, another abduction case. The guy has over 456 recordings of ETs, close-up. I mean, there's a dude that he taped in the kitchen where you see the little guy like peeping around a corner, and he sees he's caught on camera, and he's like, okay, I'm moving out of the picture, and you can see the dude. Like, it's clear as day. It's very funny, but it's very real. So, and even people debate, this can be fake, but I don't believe that this is fake because there was an encounter that Stan Romanek had with his hybrid children. And hybrid children can't live on Earth yet because the frequency is still too dense for them, and they're like holy children. They look like little children with Buddha faces, like the holier a person, a being, or an extraterrestrial gets in the divine field, the more symmetric the face is, because they are aligned. And masculine, feminine, completely as in the energy becomes a one energy spectrum in the body representation. That's why they look so clear and pure, and we know this. So when these kids visited him, I mean, not alone could they influence reality, like they let him take pictures, and they say, we give you our images for 2 weeks, you can show it to your friends, and then we remove ourselves from that image. They have that power over that, because they're from a higher realm. So what caught my attention, and this is where, I don't know if my higher self or my oversoul leads me there, they left footprints in the backyard, in the snow, where they came to visit and where you could take pictures. And in the footprints, in the winter, flowers stood out. So these children were blessed. Where the little hand touched the tree, moss, just where the hand is. So that is the life force that you emanate, and the purity coming from you, and that's the residue that you're leaving behind. You see, if your footprint is holy, see, flower of life. You know, if you leave that resonant frequency through your footprint there. So I know these kids were there. This was real. So I lean on that. Again, that's a holy field. You know, how can I create a representation of that or lean on it? And then I channeled this together with several books. The craziest thing is your body is a light factory. And what people don't understand is how is light being actually distributed through the body with everything that you take in. So take note or get a CD or whatever. Record this. Vitamins direct your light. Minerals store your light. Enzymes balance the light isotopes within. Cells produce light. This is all with dimensions. Blood transports light. The plasma in your blood structures the light. And then in the 7th dimension, light becomes awareness, that you know that you are. That is where your light levels go, higher levels. Melanin, everybody has that, is reactive. Melanin is responsible for spirit to matter. Your cells coming from the ether into this realm. Every 7 years, you have an entirely new body. So as you're sitting here, you have little divine elves that rebuild you all the time. It's an ongoing process. Ka in Egypt is that symbol, and it's the light body, and that's the factory setting of your soul blueprint, of your pure plasma body. Once that is achieved, you don't need food. That's why, you know, some breatharians look like X-rays because they don't have it down. You know, or some people that fast and you're fasting and your body is falling apart, you're doing it wrong. You're not there yet. I say you can do that when you have reached the energetic state to do so. You know, so don't hurt yourself with intermittent fasting, and then you end up with kidney failure and in a hospital because you're not drinking water. You want to be superhuman. There are steps. You know, a friend of mine said if you want to levitate, try from the ground up, not from the roof. It's to do it safe. You know, we want to do it safe. So then 10 is oneness. That is one with all realized. For those who ever had psychedelic experience, the oneness is kind of there in the plant realm. They'll help you if you don't have 80 years to sit in an ashram. I don't. So oneness in others is recognized. That's almost like telepathic or telepathic, like you get one another. How does telepathically, how does that work? Yeah, I had in my mind that I like a rainbow obsidian, and a very sensitive friend of mine comes back from the Tucson Gem Show and brings me a rainbow obsidian, and I didn't communicate that to him. That's when we're in sync. That's also when all wars end on the planet. When we link our hive mind, whatever ruckus is going on now, it'll just stop because it's us. We are this entire organism. 12, interconnectedness, central sun awareness, intradependence, atomic level, meaning like you have the consciousness. When they said this about Jesus, so I'm just using this analogy. He says to one of his disciples, if you have the consciousness of a mustard seed, you're like a super avatar, because the seed knows what to do. So do the enzymes and minerals or your cells, they know what to do. When we get sick, it's basically the communication within is suffering. Like the politics of how light is being distributed in the body, I call it light dynamics, is a problem. So if your light dynamics are not in order, and you ever have this, you're sick, you take vitamin C and you're not getting better. It's energetics. If you don't have the absorption level to take that in, you can't get better, you know. So it's to know how and being able to produce that. So next is where we had, we took my substance, which is basically quartz charged with 23-dimensional light. It's a sticker. So, and I wanted to, in my mind, I used to be a rap star, if you will, so I used to battle MCs. So what I do is I observe everybody, let everybody perform, I come on last, and then I will reflect on everything that came before to make myself in uniqueness unbeatable. So that same process works in when you go to metaphysics. So I looked at all of these cell phone stickers, mitigating EMF, and I'm like, I'm not touching EMF. With my sticker, I'm talking to your cells. So what my sticker does, it sends a photonic signal of a nature signature back to your mitochondria, so your body knows to stay in order and to stay protected when under EMF. And we had it tested, and after 3 days, the mitochondria accelerated by 20%. And when your mitochondria, when the metabolism works a little bit faster, EMF can affect you less. So what does EMF do? Your cells have, see, this is what the sticker looks like. You can see the crystals in there. There's literally quartz powder in that sticker, and that's laminated. And I don't think there's a sticker in the world that exists like that. I mean, try to find anything like that. So the idea is I'm not touching EMF, I'm making sure you're staying in resonance with your original self in connection to your oversoul. And that's science. So that works. I had people that get blisters holding phones, and it stopped with a tiny sticker. So what I do with that sticker, I infuse light, 23-dimensional light, into that sticker, and that becomes a little scalar wave template, if you will. I attach affirmations, to that sticker, so that stays within the body. This is the cellular matrix. This is for ascension, so you see the rocket, some see a bee. So you see the bee? Same thing. Hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. That's one of my pendants. Mastership of 4 dimensions. Makes you 5th when you conquer the thought realm, hence the astral realm, and you come into your own magical self. So since not everybody wants to go so deep or theosophy, I just make a symbolism that the body can respond to. And measurements have shown that that works. So to show that the flower of life is an infinite, so this is just actually a fragment of, this goes on infinite, and it's forever changing. It never stays in the same form. You could take different pictures and different angles, and you'd have a different flower. So this is just a baseline, and it's multidimensional. So here, that is in a temple in Egypt. These engravings are in the temple structure. So I'll give you a storyline to how do you think, I mean, they want to tell us that a mirror-polished 40-ton sarcophagus somewhere in a tunnel where it doesn't fit was made with copper chisels and hemp rope. No, not possible. So this high technology comes to us. So So bring a little bit of my story in there. So I remember I was of a collective of the Ra. We were extraterrestrials. We were Arcturian. Of the Ra was basically like a surname that you of that collective. Because some people are like, oh, Ra, are you the sun god? I'm like, no, I'm part of that collective. And they like explain that to me, and I say, well, you have a Google account? Yes. Does that make you Google? No. So you're part of a collective. So you understand that more. So it's a social memory complex of an energy form that I align with, that's why I call myself Ra or Arcturus Ra. So these patterns, wherein I had visions, where I was like 15 feet tall, elongated head, elven ears, call myself galactic elf, if you will, and we would project an image into the rock, into the crystalline structure, so potent, so laser sharp from the pineal gland that it would melt the rock and leave these inscriptions. That's why when you go to Egypt, if you haven't ever been to Egypt, you should go. You see hieroglyphs. It's mind-blowing. Like they are laser etched. There is not a millimeter. Like you see a lot in books, the crappy stuff and the withered stuff. Go into like the King's Valley or Queen's Valley or into the chambers where the stuff is pristine. It is more accurate than technology you see today. And when you see it and you touch it, it's like 90-degree angles. It's like diamond laser burned. It's like perfect. And when you see it, you know this technology is not from this planet. Again, here are the patterns. Atomic structures, harmonious field. It's more than just this flower thing. It's just showing like when fields harmonize. So I also try to look at things that people don't look at. So I looked at also what's between. You see these spheres here. So when they overlap, there's this in between. So I try to make this transparent, so you can look inside what's in between the spheres. So I cut it out. This is what it would look like. So the spheres would end here, and there you see this coming together. So I see there are systems that make sense, and it's tough to find that stuff out because you got to finance yourself. There's nobody really like, here, you want to spiritually find yourself? Here's my investment. It doesn't work. So you're on your own, but it gets you very clear of how this planet works and makes you stronger. I forget the toys in the background, I need inspiration. So that's that. Then I looked at the atomic structure, and some people call it Metatron, but it's not based on that. It's deeper than what names and labels we give it. And if you go into Sanskrit and ancient Hindu texts and these old scriptures that are older than 10,000 years old, why is it that in the temple, or the temple is built that way, you always find that pattern? What does that actually mean? And this is here like the echelon keys based on that. So you have the atomic array of an atom, and it represents divine harmony in your cellular matrix. So in the temple structure, part of these rocks were also partially magnetic. This was built in a way that this is when you're healthy. So let's say somebody is sick or has a disease, one of those spheres would be out of alignment. So in the geometry, you see where alignment takes place when things are holistically in order. So again, you have the elements. I put an atomic seed in here, fire, water, earth, all the elements, wood. And here's the peculiar thing, is the ancients knew what science has found out when IBM scanned a human cell with the atomic bonding angles in order. It was IBM. This is what they found. Isn't that interesting? And this is science. That's when you are in order. So that's a biochemical bonds of atoms in alignment when you're in the cell, when the cell is in order. So the ancients knew, maybe by psyche. There is a book that is intuitive science where the alchemists in the ancient days, they knew where the gold mines were. They have natives out in the mountains. They know where gold is, they know where oil is, they know where diamonds are. They're not sharing that with the public world because it will be abused. Like, this is when people have really true psychic power. I know when some people say, yeah, I can read the Akashic, no, but you can come with potential metaphors of how to better your life, that's all nice. But can you remote view and then read a serial number of a satellite with all the digits? And when you can, that's where your power is. Also having to do with alignment in your vibratory frequency. So the shaman would test the student in a way with astral travel by, they would take their sacrament, their plant medicine, and the shaman would tell the student to let go when he leaves his body, and tell him to fly behind that mountain, behind the forest is a major tree that you can't miss, and there's a symbol engraved on that tree. And the student's body sits in front of the shaman. That's the test. So this is when the real magic comes in, and not people like coming with potential stuff. And I'm not talking David Blaine and gimmicks and David Copperfield and all that stuff. These are illusionists. That doesn't heal cancer, So the effectiveness is the student coming back and then drawing on a piece of paper in the morning when he comes from the trip what he saw. And if that symbol matches what is on the tree, then he has really the ability to leave his body and see. And we all have that. So I say, when you get psychic impressions, try to get the three-dimensional confirmation that this is so what you have experienced. I had people that say, yeah, I don't know, I'm Ontarian, I know I'm Ontarian, I know it, and you can actually check astrology. And I checked astrology and I said, no, boo-boo, you are Lyran. So, there are planets in alignment to your star system from your birth in your birth chart, and you can find that. So I know I'm triple Aquarius, Scorpio rising, so my constellation is like a total nutcase. No, I'm actually 41 degrees Aries north node pointing to Arcturus. And 4 planets in Arcturus. So the star nation predominantly that I present is Arcturian. So if you do astrology, if you want to memorize that, you go to astrocharts or astro.com, and then you add additional objects. And then you add the other planets, Sirius, Lyra, Maya, Vega, Antares, Alpha Draconis. Better be no draconians in here. And then it'll show you your planetary constellation. And the most planets you have in that constellation as an additional object, that is the star family that you represent. That's written. That's science, Okay. So I made another sticker with the crystalline substance. So I wanted to super amplify the harmonious field. So I put the flower of life again as a model. Any harmonious model, by the way, that you find works. This is just, people understand that. And I had a hard drive with that sticker, and a lightning strike hit the electric circuitry around the house, and everything kind of went to shits except the hard drive with that sticker. And that was to preserve molecular integrity and structure of electric devices. So another invention. So and that's a crystal. And I believe that in this, people say, yeah, we're living in an illusion, this ain't real. You do this. Is this real? Why are you kicking me? So there are rules and regulations in this illusion that we're playing, so know that. Like Morpheus said, some of them can be bent, some of them can be broken. Same thing when he says, you think that's air you're breathing? And the people are like, what? And Neo's like, my eyes hurt. And Morpheus, because you've never used them. I was so shocked when I heard that, but it made sense. When you have never used a muscle, as in getting that in gear, it hurts the first time. Or let's say somebody drops some knowledge. It's not for older people, it's more for the younger people. It gets into the detail, into knowledge, and all of a sudden you're like, this is the resistance to wake up. You drift off. You don't want to hear it, and you want to tune out. That's because we're conditioned. So this just shows me, I mean, you see the detail. That's an ice crystal. That shows me there's a divine program. There's a divine engineer behind our existence. And how old that is, I don't know. If you check the breath of Brahma that we're living in, you can say a fully developed human race living in the conflict, in and out, the fall and rise, 400 million years. If you want to go into how old humans are, check Michael Cremo, Human Antiquities, where they found artifacts that were made not by Neanderthal, not by prehumans. History is completely upside down and sideways. There's a lot missing. So that's why we're trying to put back together the pieces to figure out who we are. This is the symbol of Ptah, but also holding a magic scepter. This is called the Wajet. That has actually part of my tools in there. That's the staff, the grounding, the jet, and the ankh. And then the top of the staff, which was the staff of a magi. All technology from the ancient days, where some people, that study Egypt claim this is all symbolism. This is technology put to paper, because we didn't understand what it is, so we draw it out. Here is one of my keys that I made, which is based on that. So that's the 4 templates of mastering the 3 dimensions. The 4th is the astral realm and the thought realm, and this is the grounding. Because some star seeds, I live in Sedona, they all in crystal and flying about, and they're all astronauts. None of them are grounded. And you need to bring it also back to earth. You need to bring spirit to matter. That's why you're here. You need to make stuff happening. I find it so funny. Sometimes I find videos on Instagram. I found it, I got the formula for everything, and you have nothing to explain and no application, but you understand everything. Or people that have their mushroom trip and they're coming back and they think they're Jesus because they've seen it all. No, that's not how it works, boo-boo. You have to find the way of the path of the plant and the medicine and the work and the application to when the plant shows you there's work to be done, and that wants to be done in physical form. That's why we are in physical form. We chose to be here. Like Bashar said, you're here, you are worthy, all of us. So let's do it right. It's so interesting in an interview, and people probably missed that too. There was pieces that I collect where Michael Jackson had his last tour. He was about to go on his last tour. The tour, I don't know, the tour would have been called That's It. And he said, the planets are aligning, we got to get ourselves together. So he must have known something. So I think some of us know. So here's another version of the jet key. Again, the 4-dimensional aspects, and then the 4 rings here. That's a little bit more masculine. I have a funny story. I was arrested by the police in Germany, in Bavaria, by the way. They're like, we got the smartest coke dealer. You're putting it in pendants. That is interesting, and supposedly I broke paragraph 111. I saw the number codes. I'm like, this is all madness here. I'm sitting at the precinct, and they're like, we got you. You have a bag full of these. We cut this open, and he wants to lick it. I'm like, don't lick it. This is crystalline substance. It's not consumable. Yeah, that's what you say. And they thought they had me. And they were so upset that they had to let me go. Yeah, it's quartz sand. And we're just doing our job. I'm like, yeah, these are not the droids you're looking for. Like, really? Wow, this is an interesting story. So I was like, okay, I must be doing something right. So this is basically what I put in my pendants. This is quartz sand. And this is nanospherical, meaning like very fine ground quartz sand. Because the Russians have found out the finer the quartzes, the higher the capacity to store light. And then people like, it's so funny, a lot of people ask me, so when do I recharge my key? It's not a USB stick, it's not a battery, you don't recharge them. The sand has isotopes in it, and you can almost see like a little bit of rainbowy, like if you really pay attention, there are color streaks in here. It reflects all colors. So the light in there lasts 15,000 years. So if you have a pendant, I think you have time. So I put that in there, and what brass does is basically it accelerates the photons outward, and the metal object generates negative ions, and that's healthy for the body. And compare that with electricity, the high power plants that deliver the electricity to your home. See? It's the cascade to amplify, to accumulate, and get more power. And orgone is in the same way, but this is orgone is only a fragment. So you see, from ancient to the future, similar thing, but not worshipped anymore. You know, it's turned into bills and consumable energy. We want to also go away from that, but that's another tale. Yeah, biophotonic resonance, the Jedi Key Pro, and again, where I believe that these were machines from ancient times is when you go to Egypt, you find depictions of bigger systems. I, at some point, want to build one. Also, interestingly, not to diss religions, but when the Christians came in, that's what they did here, you see. They had to deface the gods. I mean, there were so many temple structures so high, they couldn't deface everything. But, religion, church, Vatican, they were not having that there was a race before them that was intelligent, that would actually destroy and chisel out what was before, So you can see the damage when you're there, that, people have different belief systems, and they come in there and they act destructive. I don't think we're also outgrowing that. We have an opportunity to all become one. So, again, this is the machine that I saw. It's a bigger device, and I think it goes even further. It has solar panels, so we can build that. So, different models again. This one is a larger version that has more potency. Some people want some people want Honda, some people want Lamborghini, some want Bugatti. Depends on whatever models people want. So I play with that. This one was an Earth Arcana template key that I made. I called it the Gamatron, that has 22 dimensional rings. Right now I'm at dimension 4. 24 now. And the next lecture will also be interesting. Like when that comes up, I'm downloading Sophia templates, which are the mother codes, which are not mentioned in the Bible. So it goes further out, where the original cosmic family is realigned, whereas the mother, the father, the son, and the daughter, in the original cosmic template of our existence, that's returning. And that it kind of bleeds into, it's like these keys are keys to other things that will build further out into more knowledge. So this is a fuel diviner. I studied further that the Russians have realized that when you have sun rays or photons hit liquid, it changes. So I put this on my SUV, and it went from a 19 mile per gallon to a 27 mile per gallon car, because I'm harmonizing the way my motor now consumes, as in burns the fuel. Also, less carcinogens coming out of the exhaust. So let's use transitional technology to make it better while we're using fossil fuels until this is over. So besides the name here, what do you think this is? Any other description? Then I tell you what that is. Correct, that's correct. Also called a witch's tree, in German Hexenbaum. And the witches knew this because the natural life force swirls out of the ground. So this is in Sedona. I live in Sedona. So when tourists go these hikes, they don't stop, they don't see that. So this is if you want to leave your body. If that twist goes the other way, you're grounding in. So that shows you that the magnetic and photon flow coming out the ground is going this way. So, and you see this all around Sedona, maybe in the woods and other places too. So then I took my pendant and cut my bush in front of my house. So now imagine that. So I take the entire bush in front of my house, I cut it down. I take one branch and attach my pendant to the edge of where the root would be. In the other bushes, I don't attach anything to it, and I let this entire pile sit for 6 months in the sun with no water. And this is what happened. Can you see? This is this. All here, decay. You see that? See how this is still here? So with bioresonance, you can do natural things that look magical, actually. So, and I learned this by playing with it. What does it do? So, this is 6 months. At some point, this got dry, and then, at some, it will lose color, but this was like the best time to capture it in the backyard. You can see all decay. And this one here has this key. And that's all I did. No water, just preserving the energy. So what does that mean, preserving the energy? Basically, and that's where UFO and magical technology comes in. If light goes directly into the prism, it does what it's supposed to. And if light does not go correctly, as in pure and the correct angle, it's all alchemy, into existence, this cannot occur. And this is what I'm basically reestablishing in the correct communication in your body. So, and this is for, the dimensions of light in our existence organized. So they make sense. So I had light systems installed in my driveway on this side. And this is my neighbor's bamboo that went under the concrete to the freaking plates from the other side. You have to understand, the sun is on this side, and this grows into my house. So this is what happens when you switch the light on, It'll happen. So I left it that way because it kind of looked neat, put some Buddhas there. So, and you see how bright that is and how dark that is. That has to do with where you put the light activation. So when I have home units, I build boxes now. I had different models. This was like dipped in gold, partially, just to see, like I could bring patches like this back, totally dry, and they would totally turn green. This is not all encased in the box with plasma and whatnot. I played with other plates to attract light. Basically, I study the ancient papers, I look at the symbolism, and then I replicate what I see into 3D. This thing creates ions. Where people have an electric ion blower, I don't need that. I just put that in place, and it harmonizes your place and produces ions. And it was so hard to find these ball bearings that you can screw on. I actually called Harley Davidson and ordered clutches for the motor. So they're like, well, you need so many, you have that many bikes? I'm like, you don't know what I'm doing, so just give me 20, fill up the bag, I have some ideas. And Home Depot and all that stuff, and here you go. So I'm just trying to go figure out how do I put this together to make it workable. So this is one of my boxes when it's all encased, and you can activate your tinctures, alkaline your water, like overnight. This goes to 7.2 pH. Like that, the best water to drink, people say alkaline. It's a little bit of a myth. If you tax your body with that, you're actually shredding your gut. You need to be acidic in your gut, and your cells need to be alkaline. In order to have the balance, you need to give the body what the body can work best with. What I learned, and here comes in the supplements and tips, is 7.2 pH is the best, and hydrogenated. So I want to produce that in the future, but it's already out there, like hydrogenated water. When you push a button and the bubbles come up, drink that hydrogen water. That's equivalent to like eating more greens than, nobody has the capacity to eat, 5 pounds of broccoli a day to keep the hydrogen level going, It's because our food is a little bit deficient. The average potassium level per day that you would need in full energy capacity means 12 bananas a day. No, who can handle that? So you add some water and mix it up and have it light, otherwise you just go crazy, So, so this is basically oil tinctures last longer, apples are greener longer, bananas last longer, water alkalizes, and you harmonizes your house and home. But these are like bigger house and home units. Let me see. This is one of the latest that I made, and it's called Scalar Fractal Capacity Module, and they can activate 6,000 to 10,000 square feet, like light up your house. But not visibly. It's more on a higher dimensional spectrum. So what does that do? Well, the grass is greener. Bees return to beehives. Things are organizing in and around your house, and harmonizing the energy in and around your entire universe. I don't know. Has anybody ever had like coffee machine not working? Anybody? Or washing machine or dishwasher not working, or things in the house? Yeah, that's when your field's off. These things just happen because they happen. It's because the field's out of alignment. Something will go wrong. Or you fix your car and one thing leads to another, and there's problems with your car. Well, then you have a jinx on your car. That means there's something that's not, the light structure is not communicating properly, and you have that jinx, and you want to get that jinx out. So I had a lady that bought a house unit, had a feud with a neighbor for like 10 years, bickering and bitching, and who cuts what grass from what size, and how high is the fence, and blah, blah, blah. After 2 weeks, this installed, no joke, neighbor comes with cake, makes peace. That's what I want, It's where I don't have to explain, I don't have to, you get it. It's an energy coming in where you understand, you get in resonance, and you get it. So, so what else?
Is that with the granulated quartz?
Yes. Yeah. It's not only that. This is a bigger one. Granulated quartz. Sometimes I also add plasma. The Keshe Foundation has uploaded a video that YouTube erased very quick, but they re-uploaded it, how to build like a plasma generating machine. So what I do is I make this plasma, then I charge it with photons and put it in glass tubes and add that sealed into the unit. So you have plasmic and photonic energy array, tachyon and ionic flow throughout the entire system to make it stronger. I did this with seeds. I don't know if you can see this. It's tough to see. Like I have a glass pebble in there, a crystal pebble that's like a 0.8 millimeters that's charged with the energy. Put it in there, after 3 days, these seeds sitting in water, this comes out. Like it accelerates growth in nature. And then my biggest project, which I had here last year, which kind of blew up the spot. Like 11 p.m. we had to beat people out of our booth. It was really insane. We had lines and people laying in booths, and people with phenomenal experience. And I used the same technology amplified in here to get you back into your center. So basically what this does is that the faster than the speed of light, I'm copying you to your higher self and copying you back. That results into you experiencing what you need to experience. And I have a dear friend, and I want to share her experience, which kind of was that fast that blew my mind. Commander Saya. Well, she's here, and she comes out of the med bed, and I don't want to call it med bed. I want to call it actually cell well, because I'm not trying to lean on hospitals. I'm not going that direction. So that doesn't run on electricity. And she had an experience where she was on a ship. She was briefed as a starseed. She's a commander, a parallel life, being here, having a mission protocol, and she had an experience like within like 8 minutes? 8 minutes. Yeah. So very fast, and I didn't tell her what this is going to do, because I wanted to come in on a three-dimensional level for reducing inflammation, getting people into a better state. Because if you come in like, interdimensional contact with your spacecraft in a recall ship, people are like, yeah, right. It's a little bit, even for the esoterics and the spirituals, you can also be far out for them. So then I introduced that back in when I had, interestingly, like, you created like an array of people after you coming in. They apparently commander. They mostly were females. And the Arcturian, but many races showed up that came in there and had interdimensional experience. I had even a skeptic who said this can be suggestible, and just by my presence and how I command presence, this could be believed. And he came out, pupils like mushrooms, and he's like, holy shit, like I traveled. He said, I went through like light tunnels, I saw light emanating from my body, like what is this thing, So basically I'm mimicking holy places, King's Chamber, holy wells, and very potent. I mean, I don't have a picture now. When I set this up that year, it was 3 years ago, there's the fence, and my neighbor had a peach tree, and that peach tree kind of did this over the fence towards that bed, and all the peaches on that one side, on the other side like 5 or 4, and the hanging side like 60 fruits. So I knew I'm activating something here. So zero field energy, photon ion therapy. So I'm bombarding you top to bottom with natural life force. No electricity. So if there's ever a power outage, the thing keeps going. Like once it's assembled, it's on. Repurposing natural fields, magnetic, biophotonic, organic, and many sciences combined. Not for people with pacemakers because it is magnetic. And that's for that creation. Then I wanted, to look more like the Holy Ark. So I worked on a design. This used to be a tanning booth. And it's so funny that skeptics, they want to attack me. That's a tanning booth. I'm like, yeah, that's correct. I've repurposed it, I'm not even trying to debate that. Because they make the holes that I need. They're like, I got you now. I'm like, oh, you're so smart. Of course, it's a tanning booth. And I've removed all the electric parts out and put my stuff in there. What you just saw here, the shooting system, So everything else is removed. And the stuff that's in there, it's like tons of stuff that costs you crazy electricity, and then going into no consumption, runs on basically ether. I have a little commercial template, commercial Stasi commercials in the future. Holo med bed. And this is what it looks like from the side. And also main thing what a psychic says is I love what I do. Like I watch Star Trek to see, can I replicate what they have in there that is to mimic but make it functional, So these are just versions where I'm looking at, can I make this like a pod and different things. So one day I want to print this. I looked at printers that can print this. They're as big as a house. Can't afford that yet. They're like freaking as big as a garage, but they can print cars. Well, maybe in the future we can print those. And my dream is, COVID kind of destroyed that, but it's not lost. We had a company that printed a model, which to me is like the shit. I'll show you. This is what I want. And that's maybe in 2 or 3 years, because it's work. It's three parts. All the components go inside of here, and then we will have color and sound therapy, and that imprinted with a high dimensional frequency, and then you have the future in your hands. Because I want the stuff to look like spaceships, because I'm into the future, and so that now leading into your health tips. You want to take notes. Is I tell people when they use my technology, and it's not like you depend on it. You can buy anything anything that you're in resonance with that works for you. You should invest. There's plenty of stuff out there. Pardon. So I tell people when you go into healing modalities, make sure that you find stuff that you can measure, like your blood. If you want to go check my YouTube channel where I'm talking about dark field microscope, where I show you blood that has an infection and blood that is healed, and how to heal it, and what people are not looking at and what doctors are not telling you. So I'll give you like a list of things that should be in your diet to get a better baseline and get more energy back. So what your body needs is iron fluorine. What they sell at Whole Foods is iron oxide. What's the difference? Iron oxide comes from rocks. Iron fluorine comes from plants. And from plants it's alkaline, and that's what gets your magnetic array in order. Iron oxide is a heavy metal. That's toxic. That's actually not for you. So then you want to also get out of heavy metals in your body. So some of you have mercury fillings. If you can, over time, remove all of them. I did it. Shitload of money. But done, clear. No more metal in your mouth. And it's funny, it's illegal to ship mercury, but they put it in your teeth. It's like illegal to have it. So you're running around illegally with that in your mouth. So funny. Just like the Bible, you have free will, but I give you 10 commandments. So what's it going to be? Commandments or free will? It's like, where am I here? So yeah. So to remove heavy metals, you need Folium PX, and I don't make those substances. I just have tested that, and it's really, really helpful. Anybody, no disrespect, anybody who had the Kool-Aid jab, you understand? Anybody who has Kool-Aid in their blood, after that, you want to clear out. You need those substances to clear your blood. So that's why, call it Kool-Aid 22. You catch the drift. I want no Kool-Aid in my blood, just to make that clear. So you also want organic sulfur to clear the debris in your body, and that is the waste management of your body. You also want to clean infections in the blood, which antibiotics and other stuff do not reach, with mito synergy, M-I-T-O synergy, S-Y energy, to clean out your blood. You want, for the respiratory system, NAC, that's an amino acid that clears that upper part up, and you have those things in your diet. And take this for a while, and take everything with like a 30-minute distance, and really feel how here you come back, how you snap back, how you get more energy back. I mentioned iron fluorine, yeah. So look at iron fluorine products that specifically have that, and then you'll have way more energy. Ormus. Look at like the good stuff. I know, and they had ormus from Hawaii to alkalize your body to get that back. And then get into vibrational navigation. Many mention that is like, if something doesn't feel good, it's probably not for you. If something is healing, you get better and you're recovering, then you should follow that. And that's with food and whatever you feel. So sometimes, you eat the wrong foods at the wrong time. And know the difference between nourishment and sustenance and tchotchkes. What are tchotchkes? Tchotchkes is anything that's a stimulant, like sugar, coffee, alcohol. Everything that's not life-affirming or life-sustaining is a luxury for your body to process. Just to know that. So don't waste your time with stuff that actually deteriorates you. And there's nothing wrong with a, I don't know, 2 or 3 M&Ms, but not a bag, you know. So some people, you know who you are. You know, they're the nighttime perpetrators. They come out at night, and the gremlin comes out. you gotta stuff it all in. I was one of them. It just gets you 3 in the morning, and it's like you gotta find some substance to calm this monster down. So yeah, and it's nothing wrong to have a little sugar here and there, but find the moderation, where you're not overloading your system with stuff that you don't really need. So these supplements are important. Sea moss, and especially for the females, throat chakra, because that's fallen now, thanks God, old patriarchy, you females were not heard, so you had to develop a stronger voice to bring your point across. So people with Hashimoto's or thyroidism, that's all that female spell from the past that we also want to heal. So iodine, sea moss, to heal that. And also find, as a woman, finding your voice, not having to scream. Let's say if there's interaction with males, you don't have to bring your point across by screaming. There has to be an opportunity where you're not going to be heard with your natural voice. So this can heal. It's very old, that spell. It's a very old spell. And the opportunity to heal that is also now. So if those who have issues here, sea moss, iodine is very important. Workouts, you should move, hike, or swim, or climb, or do something in life. And that's for all ages, because your body needs movement. If it doesn't receive movement, it atrophies. It's just kind of, your muscles just go still and they shrink. And then, one morning you make a move, you're like, and you freeze, you're like, what did I do? And this is when this happens, So you want less of that stuff. It's funny how I realize, like, I'm 54 now, and I'm in my young mind, and I dance around and I make these breakdance moves. When I had one where I had to freeze, it just pinched a nerve. I'm like, I'm not 18 anymore. It doesn't work. So figure out where your limits are, but work your body a little bit so you stay in a healthy field. And surround yourself with good friends and good energy and positive energy. And also, don't flood yourself with too much social media. I call it information Armageddon out there. It's too much stuff out there. Just maybe I sound opinionated, but if somebody says, I don't know, and I want to watch conspiracy, I want to see clarity, or the hunt for Bigfoot, and these things, it's all interesting. But I'm not interested if Obama is a draconian, or his wife is a male and the children are hybrids, blah, like it's too much for me. It doesn't have anything to do with my ascension. Dave Chappelle's a clone, okay, And then Jamie Foxx comes out with a movie Clone, and everybody's like, see, he's a clone. I'm like, it's too much. I don't think everybody's being cloned. And we're lucky that's not the case, because otherwise, if the dark side had the power that we give them, we would be really in trouble. So the dark side is not that smart. So, stay with stuff that works. Same with supplements. Look at your blood works. I had a guy that did it himself, and he showed me. He got into alternatives because doctor said you're terminal, you have 6 months, you're going to die, and he did not die. He's alive. He showed, and that's really when it happens. He took for cancer patients or people that know that have cancer, turkey tail tincture. It's freaking $9 on eBay, and people are still needing to wake up to the fact that turkey tail mushroom actually eats cancerous cells, like Pac-Man. bang, 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 you know. So is look at what works. Listen to these TED Talks. You know, when they have 50 people that were on chemo and one person takes turkey tail tincture and after 5 years she survives all the patients, then some bells should ring. We should really get it. Okay, that's a direction we should follow. So do fact check. Also something very interesting, change your toothpaste. Find a toothpaste that has what you are losing. And I did an AI fact check, and it's really real. There was a dentist that found out that your teeth are made out of dentin. And dentin is a mineral that's called apatite. And the apatite system that is in your teeth is hydroxyapatite. Get that toothpaste. Remineralize your teeth. Because that's what you're losing when you're eating. You're not replenishing. Fluoride? Hell no. Yeah, because it doesn't do anything. It distorts the bacteria, fauna, and flora in your mouth and gets you actually more acidic than alkaline, what you need overnight. So, and again, toothpaste is $9. It's really a joke. And that is the toothpaste that includes hydroxyapatite. And study what these doctors say. That's bringing animal back to your teeth. So, okay, we have 10 minutes. So basically, that will change a lot. When I first used it, I felt like my teeth got smoother and stayed smoother longer. And it's like they sucked it in. Also, when they have these tinctures, one is called Dentox, also for your saliva at night as it cycles and goes through the tubular system of your animal system. Dentox is like turmeric, peppermint, all of these things for gum lines and repair. Replenish when you go to bed with the right substance and you'll be fine. Also, for further info, watch my channel. I have like 500 lectures up about everything. I mean, anything that I can find. I cannot make everything a product, but I can point in a direction where things make sense, so you can actually increase your human potential, better your life, have more flexibility, have more power. Hopefully one day we all fly. I can't do that yet, but in my dreams I fly. I wish we could here. But I think there is a way now where this is the age of Aquarius, where we're coming into the knowledge. Like, you can get the information. You no longer have to believe the system. So inform yourself about what's out there. And believing is not knowing. Making the experience is being a knower. I had some religious people at my door, and I scared them. They're like, if you don't believe, and then I said, and so I used the word wizardry. I said, so you're telling me to be naive. So you want me to lie to the feminine aspect of Eva, to believe in your system. And I always say, to bring this to a closure, be very careful with belief systems, because belief system means BS. Don't be duped. Get the knowledge, inform yourself, enlighten your mind. The more you open yourself up to putting in what can help you, and experiment. Be excited, figure it out, try it. You can expand and you can get better. And with this, I say thank you for your time and listening, and this is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much. Thanks. My booth number is M75. I can do it. I can do it backwards. Yeah, all hip hop never leaves you, no rap. These were the tricks. How does he do it?